start off in true WWE fashion. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. There he was. I'd like to thank all of you all for coming out tonight. It's a great pleasure to be here. Especially all of Ricky's good friends here and around. I see them. They really made a great effort to come out here. Ricky and my wives, would you guys stand up, please? Ricky's wife, Sandy, take a picture. Just stand up. Stand up, please. That's Sandy on the left. That's my wife, Connie, on the right. See, they're wearing our leather jackets. That means we're going steady. All right. So, get started here. Whoa. Barely need one of those. Okay. Boca Ciega High School. Bogey. Beth, it's a horrible name. Horrible nickname as a professional golfer. So, I hope you didn't get it. I hope you didn't get it. You've been there for too long. Here we are, high school. We're looking back at that blur in time that was 50 years ago. 50 years. It's hard to believe. We were all wandering around F-Wing. We were trying to figure out where our lockers were. We were trying to remember our locker combinations and where our homeroom was. And why was our locker in F-Wing and our homeroom in A-Wing? How is this possibly going to work? I had no idea. We had no idea. I had carrying 12 books. I didn't know what to do. At the same time, we were all trying to figure out who we were and how do we fit in to this big, new, confusing world called high school. So there I was stumbling around F-Wing, I was trying to not look lost, and there was Coach Reckenwald, the wrestling coach. He was standing outside of his shop class. He points his big finger at me. He says, "Hey, you." I thought I was in trouble. First day of school. He says, "How much do you weigh, son?" That's not a question I thought I was going to get on my first day as a sophomore. Really didn't think that. He looks at me and says, "Have you ever wrestled before?" I said, "Well, I wrestled with my brothers for that last piece of pizza." He says, "That's good enough. What did you say you weighed?" I said, 92 pounds. He said, "That's good enough." He said, "I've been standing here all morning waiting for you to come by. I need a 0 to 98 pounder. Wrestling practice tomorrow afternoon, 3:30, the gymnasium." I said, "Yes, sir. I'll be there." There was the answer to how we fit in. Sports. High school sports. Sports gave us a purpose. Sports helped us find our identity. Sports taught us discipline. Sports likely kept us out of trouble. More importantly, sports made us a team. We had teammates. A team that gave us instant friends, a brotherhood bond, and a common goal to learn how to win. Within that team, we had leaders, juniors and seniors that we relied upon to show us the way. Leaders that demonstrated excellence, not just on the mat, or on the field, or in the pool, or on the track, or in the classroom, but leaders who inspired us to be better as individuals all the way around. And that's when I met Richard Blood. Discipline, hard work, being accountable, being on time, being your best, being a good teammate. All the things we needed to know in learning how to win. And that was Richard Blood. Richard Blood, long before he was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, was a leader. He knew how to inspire us as individuals. He knew how to inspire his teammates. He knew how to win. All of us here knew that we were in the presence of greatness. Did you guys hold up that trophy? That trophy was presented to Richard in 1971 as the Outstanding Athlete of the Year. It made a great trip here today, and Richard's going to say something about it a little later on. Okay? We all knew that if we listened to our coach and followed Richard's work ethic, we would all be winners. Richard Blood never cut corners. Richard Blood never complained about endless leg lifts. Richard Blood could do more sit-ups and neck rolls than seemed possible. Richard Blood was so good on the wrestling mat that he was sometimes kind of scary. One time, in a rare bit of fun, Coach Reckenwald instructed several of us lightweights to all pile on Ricky together and try to pin him. He was unhumanly strong. He flicked us off one by one like ants at an unwanted picnic. As I was being flailed through the air, I remember hoping that I don't ever have to wrestle somebody that fast, that strong, that good. I was not the first person to have those same notions. Many opponents on match day who were scheduled to wrestle Richard suddenly, magically, did not make weight. They were the smart ones. Those who did manage to make it onto the mat against Richard had to face this. And does anybody remember this? I know the guys back there will. What was that? He did some kind of thing like that and just psyched people out right away.
Put the mojo on.
The mojo, yeah. Those who did manage to make it on the edge had to face this. He had this crazy hand, and I mentioned before, he was kind of scary. I had sweaty palms, anticipating watching his matches, and I was on the same pitch. Many of his matches were over within 30 seconds. Richard's reputation as a fierce competitor started to precede him. I remember one opponent at the beginning of a match, the whistle blew, here came the crab crawl, the quivering hand, the crazy eyes. When Richard did this move, his opponents would almost freeze in fear. The opponent on this particular match took one good look, turned around and walked off the mat. Forfeit. He was a smart one. Richard Blood exuded greatness. We knew it then. We saw it carry over into his professional career, and we are paying tribute to it tonight. It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Richard Blood, class of 1971, inductee into the Boca Ciega Sports Hall of Fame.
Wow. You know, first of all, I'd like to start with a big thanks to my wife. About 3 or 4 years ago, I came to the school because I had heard how much it had expanded. And so I just started walking through the halls by myself, looking around. And I came across this case of Hall of Famers. I said, what's this? I didn't know anything about it. Tommy Zimmer and other names, right? So I went back home, and I told Sandy, my wife, about it. Now understand this. I had a great professional wrestling career, and everything was put together behind the scenes, right? We all know that. I've been inducted into 3 Pro Wrestling Hall of Fames, 3 different companies. But when I told my wife about this one, it got me choked up. Sandy, damn it, you're right. You say I got choked up. So unbeknownst to me, behind my back, she started the ball rolling. called up this guy, Dave. Dave called up the wrestling coach here, Toby. Dave also called up Bartlett back there, who's the assistant DA here, and he's got all the names and telephone numbers of everybody that I knew. And that table back there is filled with wrestlers and football players, fraternity brothers, Delta Sigma Chi and Pi Alpha Delta. They're all sitting back there, all brothers of mine, from 50 years ago. And so, I wrestled professionally for 20 years. I've had close to 5,000 wrestling matches. And yes, even though that everything has been choreographed behind stage, we do get beat up pretty good. I had a number of surgeries that I'm not going to get into, but I had a great career. I had a great time. I've got two brothers over there, Arthur and Victor, younger brothers, that I'm so happy to have grown up with. And I think part of me getting into pro wrestling and wrestling at school was the fact that those two guys were on my back all the time as we were growing up. But they were fun. And like I said, being inducted into 3 professional wrestling Hall of Fames, got an old candle to this one. That trophy I got in my graduating class, it said most outstanding athlete. Okay, got my name on it, Boca Ciega High School. I've carried that around 50 years. So I decided to bring it back home. And if it's okay, in the case, put it out there. If you want to put my picture next to it, I like to bring it back. All right, before I close, I want to end it on a kind of a funny note. So I've got a wrestling story. In around 1979, I started a business in 75, and in around 1979, I started making a main event mark in pro wrestling. And I was the current United States heavyweight champion. That's one level below the world champion. And I was driving to Sumter, South Carolina, and my mom and dad were riding with me for the first time. For the first time to see me wrestle professionally. Dad was over here, my mother's in the back seat. Now she's from Japan. They met in 1949 after the war. And so I'm sitting there, and we have a phrase in our business of smartening people up. And what that means, you tell them that everything's choreographed, right? That's smartening them up. So we're driving there, and I look over at my dad and my mom, and they think everything is straight up, right? And so I said, listen, when I get in the ring tonight, I want you to understand that your boy's going to be okay. You do not have to worry about it. I'll be all right. Do you understand, Dad? And I'm looking in the rear view because Mom's sitting in the back. Do you understand, Mom? And she goes, you know, from the Japanese South, right? So here comes the match. I'm wrestling a guy named Ernie Ladd. Now, he played for the Minnesota Vikings. He was a defensive lineman. He was part of the Purple People Eaters. He's about 6'8" and weighs about 340. He was a big man. The promoter comes up to us and he says, okay, you guys, you're the main event tonight. Ricky, you're the United States heavyweight champion. Ernie, we're not changing the championships tonight, so that means tonight you're going to do the honors. In other words, Ricky's going to win. You're going to do the honors. So we put together a little finish me, that how we get into it, and I get my hand raised. And just as we were getting ready to walk away from each other, Ernie turns to me and he said, Ricky, he said, after you get the 1, 2, 3 on me, do you mind if I get a little heat back? Now what that means is that I get the 1, 2, 3, the referee comes over and raises my hand, and then from behind, he blindsides me, takes me down, and starts putting the boots to me. That's getting his heat back. So in the business, we make the people happy because the good guy won, But then we make the people mad because the bad guy attacked him from behind after the match is over. So you understand that? Getting his heat back? All right? So I said, sure, and that's cool. So we have our match. I get the win. I get my hand raised, and from behind, boom! Down I go. He starts putting the boots to me. He's size 15s. Right? And I'm laying on my back, trying to cover up. And off to my side, there's some commotion going on here. And I look over my shoulder, I'm laying on my back, and there's my dad standing on the ring apron. He's got one leg in the ring. He's got a folded steel chair in his hand. And he's going, "Don't worry, son, I'm a-coming for you." Now the security there has got a hold of his other leg, and another security guy has got a hold of the steel chair trying to pull it out of his hand. And I'm laying there. Now Ernie doesn't know this is going on because he's got his back to it. It's behind him. So I know, I said, I got to get out of here. So I roll out of the ring. I run around the edge of the ring, and I come up to the security guys from behind. I said, "It's my dad." And they look at me like, "That's your dad?" "Yeah." I said, "It's my dad." They said, "Damn, Ricky." They start walking away. So we're riding home. Now we were living in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it was about 90 miles. So about the first half hour is dead silence. So I look over at my dad. Mom's in the back, and I said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Didn't I tell you not to worry about your son?" And my father looks over at me and he says, "Don't blame me, blame your mother." He's from Boston. So I said, "Mom," I said, "I told you didn't have to worry about me." And in her Japanese accent, she goes, "I don't care. He a cheater. He attacked you, match over." I said, "Daddy, go do something. Go do something." So I looked at Daddy and he said, "Yeah, that's why I grabbed that steel chair and I was going to get in the ring." Well, the next night, in another city, I'm wrestling Ernie Ladd again. And he came up to me in the locker room. He was all excited. He said, "Ricky, can we do the same thing we did last night?" He said, "Did you see that old man trying to get in the ring with that steel chair?" He didn't know it was my dad. I said, "Ernie, that was my dad." He goes, "What? Your dad?" I said, "Yeah, that was my dad." "Didn't you smarten your parents up?" I said, "Yeah, I told them not to worry about their son, that everything was sort of taken care of." He goes, "Oh man, I thought I was getting some good heat last night when I saw that man trying to get in the ring. Oh man," and Ernie turned around and started walking away. And then he just turned around and he said, "That's better yet, Steamboat. Here we have a man that got smartened up to the business, and he's still trying to get in the ring and take my head off. We're doing the same thing tonight." Well, that's just a true story of some stuff that happens behind the scenes. I want to thank everybody here, everybody that's with me. David, thanks for the intro. That was damn good. And everybody that's sort of led the path for all of us to follow you from behind. Thank you all. And everybody here, and especially the guys in the back. Make some noise. Yeah. And everybody here, thanks again. Take a shot here. Okay.
Thank God we're there.
Congratulations. Welcome to our family.
Thank you very much.